Alright folks, it's just gone 6:30. It's Thursday, and I know it's 18:31. It's 18:31 and we're live on Thursday afternoon. Took me a little bit longer because I'm trying something new tonight. I am currently also live on Instagram. You guys on YouTube can't see it, but I have my tablet over there. I've got my back to you most of the time on Instagram, so we're going to give it a try. So, here we go. What have we got down here today? So we got the dreadnought, the Dev Company dreadnought. He is looking mighty fine. Hopefully he will be done by the end of the show. And we have a package that arrived in the post, airmail from the Ukraine, which means only one thing. My Imperial Deathlord arrived, and we will be unboxing him live. We'll be getting on with that later. However, I'm going to make you wait for it. I'm not going to do it all straight away at the beginning of the show. But what I do need to do at the beginning of the show is my Patreon shoutouts. And Maurice, your name's going to go across the bottom of the screen any second now as being one of my third tier Patreon supporters. If you want to get in on that, you know, have a look down there. That would be fantastic. Going over to Patreon, all my links are in the bottom, and also the link for the Imperial Deathlord is also in the description below if you want to have a look at him. But do that at the end of the show, will you? Because, you know, stay with me and chat. Say hello in the comments and we'll have a chat along with while we're doing what we're doing. We've got Gaten Blackfag has joined me on Instagram, so hello to you. I'm sorry, but most of the time my back is going to be against you, but if you come over to YouTube, you'll also get the access to where this camera is pointing down here. You get to see a better shot of that. But you know, I'll probably talk to Instagram occasionally throughout the night, so I'm giving it a try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So let me know how that's going along as well. Have we got any news to do? Well, I tell you what, we do have some news. If this guy is about to get finished. Okay, so obviously I opened it up to my patrons about what am I going to do next, and it was pretty much a toss-up between an Imperial Knight and this guy. It's going to be this guy. So not only are we going to start unboxing it tonight, we're going to get started on building it tonight. So this will be the new project. Just because I'm starting a new project tonight does not mean that during the course of the show you can throw in your suggestions for what the next project could be. Throw them in the comments below, and if I can get it done, that will go on the shortlist for my patrons to then decide what the next project is going to be. This show is all about what you guys want to see, and that's what you're going to get. Alright, so that's me waffling on. Shall we get cracking on with getting some painting done before we unload this? Now the reason why I've got to do that is that I need to, I've got some washers and stuff to do on this guy long before we managed to get some open that. I've got to get some washers on. That needs to dry. So I've had Baal Sekidas join me on Instagram as well, so everything's on YouTube over here. Hopefully what I'm hoping is I'm not, oh dear, you want me to paint Gualimon? Oh man, I don't know if I can do that, but we'll see. Right, can I do it? Well, can I do it? As a loving son of the angel, can I paint Gualimon? But then as a commission painter, I suppose I really should do, shouldn't I? Alright, so first things first, what we're going to do. So this is pretty much, well, I say pretty much how we left him. This is how we left him off last week. The only thing I've done is I went in and I just did a few touch-ups of the model. Just so that I tidied up some of the black areas that I'd gone over. I tidied up a bit of the gold and so on and so forth. So what we've got to do tonight on this guy is we just need to wash these purity seals and get them highlighted. We have got the base to finish off, and we've got some effects, some burnt metal effects to do over here. Other than that, I'm pretty much happy with him. I mean, don't forget, this is one of my personal models. I'm going to be playing with him, so we're not looking for some kind of massive, you know, award-winning paint job on this guy. One thing I did notice, and I think Reese will confirm on this, is these look kind of orange on camera. These red bits on the tips, and they're not as orange in real life. Reese has actually been able to see this model in person, so I think we'll be alright with that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw some wash down on the base. We're going to make a start on doing some of the first load of washes on the heat effects. We're going to pop some wash on this, and then we will open up the new Imperial Deathlord, and we will see what that looks like, shall we? Oh dear, that was a bit more grim dark narrator, wasn't it? Shall we? No, I don't want to start copying other YouTubers. Alright. I've got nobody on Instagram at the minute, so I won't be talking to them, but feel free to start jumping on in the comments on YouTube. And we'll see how it works. It would be nice to see if it works and I can dual cast. Don't forget, if any of you guys do want to support me on Patreon, you can go over there. The very first goal for that is the very first thing is purely so that on this Thursday night show, I will also be streaming on Twitch at the same time. Now, I've already started Twitch. If anybody of you didn't know, you can go over to Twitch. You can sign up to that. Doesn't cost anything. It's just an email address and a username, and you can follow me on Twitch. And what I'm going to be doing on there until I can get simultaneous castings, I will occasionally just load up the cameras when the house is quiet. I'll load up Twitch, and then I'll probably just start filming whatever I'm doing at the time. So you'll probably see me doing all sorts of different things. Over here on YouTube, you get to see an entire project. You get to see an entire project from start to finish, which is what we've done here. But on Twitch, you'll see me. I'll just pick up a model, and I'll just start painting whatever happens to be on the desk at the time, and that's what we'll get going. How is that going on Patreon? To be fair, Reese is currently the only person, but yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, it's still early days. I've been doing this for, let's just say I've been committed to this for only about a month, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so it's not been brilliant, but at the end of the day, I can't expect miracles. So, heat effects. If anybody of you wanted to know what heat effects is, or how it works, I'm not going to need that. You like the crackle paint? I know you like the crackle paint, Wyatt. It's what you do on your Necrons, or what I do on your Necrons as well, isn't it? So, crackle effects. Not crackle effects, you put me off now. Heat effects. So basically, I'm sure that different metals do different colours, but we do have. But maybe I should check it again. Okay, I'll check it again. Oh, there. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm having a look at this. I didn't get any notifications on through my post. Well, will you look at that? Let me just bring that up, because what I need to do now. 9-1. Right. Let's have a look. Well, look at that. Tim has now also just become one of my 3rd Patreon levels. So you, sir, thank you very much indeed. That would be really, I'm really appreciative of this. And so basically what that then means is, if I can then oh dear, now I've got to try and find out, do that, come along here. There are a few layers of Patreon on there, and for what you've just done there, Tim, thank you very much indeed. Let me just type this out here. Oh, hang on a minute. What am I doing wrong here? I'm doing something wrong here. Here we go. Right, let's try this one again, shall we? Well, this isn't going as smoothly as I was hoping it would be. Hang on a second. Right, there we go. There we go. Right. Now, I'm going to do that. And there we go. You, sir, are fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. You have just pushed us towards streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. So that is very fantastic. And if you have a look, you will also see your name popping along the bottom of that screen any second now. So thank you very much for that. So where was I? Right. So just before that, I was going to talk about the heat effects on metal. Now I'm sure that some metals have different colours, but because most people will only ever sorry, let me try that one again. Most people will only have ever seen heated metal on certain metals, for argument's sake, steel. Now, when steel heats up, it goes through a straw / yellow colour. It then turns into red, and this is during the heating process, and then it will start blackening as it heats up. And depending on how hot the temperature got to the specific spot, depends on what colour it stays. So with that in mind, I think that made sense to me. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is heat effects are created purely by washing these, and we will be using the Cassandora yellow. We will do red, which is the Caribou Crimson, and Dragonoff Nightshade. Now, if you really wanted to, somewhere in here as well, you could add some Reikland Flesh Shade, and that kind of mixed with the yellow kind of gives you a more of a straw colour before it hits yellow, so it's more of a browny yellow. But for the fact that I'm going to try and do a heat effect on this melter gun and that flamer, they're really short, so there's no point in trying to really push too many colours in there, otherwise it just won't look naturally. Guanabin Glaze looks good. It does do if I was painting it onto steel, but I'm painting onto a brass. So to change the brass to blue before I start doing it, in my opinion, I don't like that look. But I mean, obviously, it depends on your personal preference, I suppose. But for me personally, I think because I'm doing brass, I kind of prefer to just go straight in for yellow, which is the straw, then go up to the red and then the blue, and then right at the end we'll give it a quick dry brush at the end of black that will give us our soot. So what we're going to do, I'll move them out of the way for now. You'll find whenever I shake any of my bottles, you'll hear me rattling. I do tend to put agitators in a lot of my bottles. Some of them don't really need it. I mean, specifically these watery paints, it doesn't really need it. But, yeah. I did have Retro Blood Angel join me on Instagram. I don't know if my Instagram's working. I had some issues when I was with Reese the other day for doing it. But, I hope it's still working, but it is there. And I'm hoping they'll come over to YouTube. So I'm going to pop on some yellow, and I'm going basically about 3/4 of the way. There we go. Live video was paused over on Instagram, which is fine, but we're working alright here, so I think we'll just do this. I'm just going to let the Instagram run, and if anybody actually wants to talk to me over there, I can answer any questions. It's all about trying to be, everything that I'm trying to do at the moment is all about being available to people on whatever platform people prefer. See, I would love to get onto Facebook at the same time, but then I think I'd start having computer issues with RAM and all sorts of things like that. So with this heat effect, now the way I see it is that all metal has to go through the straw phase before it can turn any other colour. And because this is a weapon, it's going to be getting hot multiple times. So what I do is I don't try and blend my heat effects together, because you know that melter gun, if it was fired once or twice, it would probably have turned straw and then cooled down, and then as it might have been heated up again, and that would have gone, you know, it might have been hot for a little bit longer, so it's turned red. So what I tend to do, I paint the whole thing so that every layer changes the layer above it. It's just the way I do it. And I've got to say, actually, I'm talking about changing straw colours. It wasn't really until I really watched, Reese, you know who I'm talking about, as, what's his name? Alex Steele on YouTube, about when he does all his metalworking. Do I really fully understand heating cycles and so on and so forth, which is what changes the colour. So that kind of puts me in effect. So Alex Steele has got a channel on Facebook. He's fantastic. He's just up the road from us here in Ipswich. He's from Norfolk, I think in Norwich, and he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. And I've kind of just been watching in the background, and you know, just watching him do his metalworking. I mean, it's completely nothing to do with Warhammer or anything like that. But watching channels like that really does help you get a grasp of, especially if you're looking at things for colour. And you know, it really does look fantastic. And I really understood what it was on about when he was talking about colours, and I can then put that into my painting. So what we're going to do now is I am just about to pop on my wash on these purity seals, which is just going to be Cassandori, what is it? Caribou Crimson. I'm turning these purple. If you remember last week, I painted them purple. I'm now painting over them with a red wash, which I think that was the only two, wasn't it? Yeah. Give them a red wash to turn them from purple into a deep maroon colour. A lot of the colours that you see me do, actually, you will find on the Citadel painting app. And sometimes I'll use the Citadel painting app as a baseline, and then I'll change it to however I feel works best. Alright, so that's that. So, do you remember what I said? I'll do my washers. I think I've done my washers. I think it's now time to unload, no, get the words right, open the Imperial Deathlord. Do we all agree? Do we think it's time to now do that? Do we? I think we'll have to do that. I do need to add Tim's name onto the shoutouts for this one here as well. So why don't I do that? If you all want to see it now, type yes in the comments. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, I might just carry on with the dreadnought. You know, I might just do this next week. What do you reckon? Let's just pop Tim's name in here. I've just got to get your last name right. Tim wants it opening. Ah, I've done it again. Didn't have it ready. And then right, let's get this right. Hang on a minute. Right, there we go. Nice and quickly. There we go. Tim. There we go. Right. Let's put your name there. I think it's deserving of doing it straight away, rather than. I need to do it straight away rather than leaving it to do to the end of the show, because I'll probably forget. Do it. I mean, all three people who are watching want me to do it, so it's fine. Right, let's get this open then, shall we? Let's have a gander at this. Let's grab a knife and we'll have a look at this fella on the inside here. Actually, you know, I was talking about Alex Steele just then. I did have an idea, actually. What I would really love, he does a lot of work with Damascus steel, and if you know what Damascus steel is, it's the it's steel that has like black veining in it. How nice would it be to get in contact with him, get in contact with Winsor and Newton, and get him to make me some Damascus steel painting handles with a Winsor & Newton Series 7 painting head. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't they? I'm stalling now, you see that? Right, come on then, let's have a look. There he is. Oh, look at there. He's all shiny, you can't see anything. So, Grimskull miniatures, I think. I did, you know what, actually, one thing I will say is don't bother going to this website. It doesn't exist. In fact, that website's for sale. So, this is from Wargames Exclusives. The link to this specific model is in the description below. You can see that. So you can have a look at that and see how much he is. It was 39 euros, I think. Whatever that does change to your local currency. And postage, obviously, I think varies from place to place. So it's a resin kit. So yeah, and looking through the looking at the it does look really nice. If you look, it doesn't, if I can, I'll get it out of the package in a minute, and it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of flashing on that, not like you would expect from Forge World. And no gates at all, so I haven't got to clip anything off these gates and throw a lump of resin away. Maybe that helps with postage, perhaps. It's cheaper postage. The detail looks really nice. I mean, you can see through here. We'll get it out in a second, but the detail looks really crisp and clean. And he has his own special base, so we'll get this out anyway and have a look. So we got his base here. That's kind of cool. I think it looks a bit urban-y, I suppose. Fairly nondescript base, to be honest with you. I'm not sure whether it'll have, well, yeah, it's fairly nondescript. I suppose you could really turn that into anything you want. You can almost make this into vegetation, you know, by painting it green. It almost looks like massive leaves, but then paint it grey and it looks like, you know, sheet. Well, yeah, you could paint it rusty and turn it into sheet metal. It's a really nice colour as well. It's quite a light grey. So, and it's solid as well. Really, even that. I mean, you'd think, if you have a look at this, you'd think that perhaps that might have a bit of give in it. But that is, I mean, I'm not going to press too hard on it because that will snap eventually. But that's solid. That doesn't bend. So that's nice. And it's got Grimskull at the bottom of it. I suppose Grimskull must be the sculptor, I presume. But that's really nice. Let's have a gander here. Let's have a look at the figure himself. The Imperial Death Lord. Hashtag, it's really not Mephiston, honest. That's really cool, isn't it? I don't know if we can. I've turned off the autofocus, so. And I mean, obviously, it's all one colour as well, so it looks. It's really difficult to pick out the details on that. But if I have a look at this, this is really, really nice. I mean, I can't see any, I can hardly see any flashing on this. Now, this isn't, obviously you couldn't really kind of compare this model for the entire company in terms of flashing though, and sculpt. This model is brand new, so the mold that they're using to make this model is brand spanking new. So how long do their molds last and whether they can keep up with this kind of quality, I have no idea. This will be the very first time I've ever bought anything from a company other than Games Workshop. So, you know, standard of their resin over time, I have no idea. So it might be worth seeing if I find somebody else. But other than that, this looks really fantastic. It's got plenty of detail on him, hasn't he? I mean, he genuinely has. And I mean, it's really crisp and clean. I might have to just clean off a tiny little snub in there, just if I really wanted to be picky about it. And there's a tiniest a bit that you can't even see on the camera. You see that tiny little bit? It's nothing, but that looks really nice. So let's have a gander. Let's put him there. There we go. what else have we got? So we got another bag of all the other bits and pieces that he's got in it. So we'll have a look at this. This is full. Now I do want to have a look at this sword as well. How cool is that sword? Sword is awesome. It's a really nice shape as well. I mean, it's different to the Mephiston model, and no doubt, you know, for a good reason. But that's a really nice looking sword. If we look down it as well, it's reasonably straight. I mean, well, there's quite a lot of give in that, but I mean, considering the size of the resin, I'm not surprised. But I mean, it's not. You look at that. That's not warped, is it? You look down that. Wait, let's get the right angle. Look at that. That is dead straight. That is lovely. That is, isn't it? There's no warpage in that at all. Not that I can see. That looks fantastic. It's a beautiful looking sword. Let's have a look at what the. I mean, there's a bit of a lump there that'll probably need shaping out. And that will go in there. I mean, you know, whatever angle, I suppose. I don't know what kind of angle that would need to go in. Now there's something I did want to have a look at actually, now that I've seen that this bit is fallen out as well. This is the I'm going to have to change the focus on this, aren't I? So let's just bring that up to here, and I'll change the focus to having let's change that to a really sharp focus. There we go. Right, let's move that up to there. There we are. Have a look at that. That is the not Blood Angels. That's not Blood Angels. So I mean, that is pretty nice. I mean, there is definitely a blood drop in there with wings, and they've just covered it up with a chalice. Now there was something I was thinking. Now that actually goes on that arm. Right, so that would go on that arm. That is his. There is a slot in the arm. Actually, let's give you a close-up of that sword. Look at that. How awesome is that sword? Oh, that's really cool. I do like that. Who have I got? I've got Hot Minis who's joined me on Instagram as well. If you want to see a really nice close-up of this, join me on YouTube. You'll find me enough on Basis of Operations on YouTube. And we're currently having a look at the new, I think he's gone, but the new Imperial Death Lord from Wargames exclusive. But he's gone, so I'm talking to myself. That's really nice. Anyway, what I was saying, that goes in there. There's a lump inside the shoulder pad and a groove in there, and that'll just slot in like that. But what I'm wondering is, this is a hashtag not Blood Angel shoulder pad. I'm wondering what would happen is if I get my shoulder pad bits box and I have a look for the specific one that I'm looking for, which I don't know how quickly I'm going to be able to find it. I hope it will be quick enough. There it is. So according to the Mephiston model on GW's website, that is one similar to Mephiston's. Alright, that's his specific kind of, that's the one that they put on the model. And I'm kind of wondering whether it's possible to attach that to there. Oops. If I look at the two side by side, they are almost identical in size. But whether it will attach to there or not is another matter. That'll go on there, onto there. I mean, I might be able to get away with it. Maybe we'll figure something out when we're in the building phase. I mean, there'll be a hell of a chunk at the bottom underneath. Whoops, get my finger out of the way. There's a lot of space under there that I don't think would be there if you use... I don't even know how that... I really should have a look at the picture actually, see what angle they've designed his arm to be in. But it's something I might have a look at. I might see if I can swap that shoulder pad for that. It's an idea. Anyway, shall we move on? What else have we got in here? So we've got his other leg. So this is, I mean, if I put this up against there, let's have a look at the detail on this first. I mean, look at that. I mean, the details on that are fantastic, aren't they? What is that? I think that's just a bit of muck. But I mean, you know, that's amazing detail. It's really lots of skulls, as would be expected. We got a chalice on his leg there. Looks like some wings as well. Around the back. I mean, one thing I have noticed, I mean, it's almost as if they've put him in, it's like, what's the Mark IV Terminator? Not Mark IV Terminator, sorry, but Mark IV armor. But that slots onto there. And I mean, that's cool, isn't it? I mean, that's an awesome looking mini. I really do like that. That's pretty cool. Let's pop him down there. There we go. Stand you up there. What do we have? This is the other side. One of those things that are quite difficult to find actually in a mini when you're trying to kit bash a Mephiston yourself is a skull shoulder pad. And yeah, this one has one. There are some things that come with Mephiston that you'd want to make sure that you've got, you know, those particular ones. Yeah, it's kind of like Mark IV armor, isn't it? Yeah. So some of the things about Mephiston you really want to get right. A big skull on one shoulder pad, the big Blood Angel logo on the other. The swords that looks particularly mean, but I mean obviously that's not his sword, but it looks mean enough. And yeah, trying to find this skull is really difficult. And I love that they've got cracks in the skull. How fine is that detail in there? That's amazing. And so far, I mean, there's a bit of flashing there, but then that's not even connected to the model. So it's hidden away. I love that. Yeah, and we've got some. It's almost like, you see, this is something I don't like about this model though. Is it's got, this is his backpack, which is cool. I don't know if those holes are supposed to be there, or whether they're bubbles. I'm not so sure. There's a bit of flashing on this bit. That just a little bit of cleanup will sort that out. Trouble is, they look too those there. They look too round to be rips, but I'm surprised that two bubbles are in there with such nice. Oh, is it Mark III armor? I'm surprised with such a nice model so far that there's two air bubbles that size. But a bit of green stuff will fix that. That's no problem. That's really nice. But the thing is, I don't like about this is these are the vents for the backpack. They go on the back there somewhere. That goes like where are they? Which way do they go? Like that. That's one, and then this is the other one. And that's his backpack. It kind of looks like a Chaos backpack, doesn't it? You know, it kind of has a Chaos kind of backpack kind of feel to it. Do I like that? No, not really. I could possibly put a different backpack on him as well. I'll lose this trail that comes behind him. It's not a Mephiston necessary part of the model, but I mean it kind of looks cool. Maybe it doesn't actually. Maybe it just doesn't really add much to it at all. That extra layer of fabric. There is a hole just like a regular backpack, so I could probably put a regular backpack on him. Perhaps while we're building this thing we can make that decision. We'll have a look. Yeah, the power pack does look odd. So as we go along, I mean, he's got thumping great big purity seals though on here that they get the thing. They get attached to these to those. That's where they go. There's a little lump on either one of them, and they get attached onto there. So I mean, what I might do is I might build the model as it should be, but not with super glue. Put the whole thing together, see how it looks, and then make changes how we see fit. We could do that. We'll see what happens. And that, other than his other arm, which is here, which is quite interesting, he's not holding anything. That arm comes along here. You can imagine he's building some kind of psychic power, and grabs his he's building something up in his arms there, and I kind of like that because I'm using all my fingers now. But that is there. The only thing missing from this Mephiston, but it's not missing, I just haven't shown you it yet, is his plasma pistol, which looks cool. Hang on, let me just show you it there. Looks kind of cool. It looks old as well. Again, it looks like it's almost like if Mephiston was in 30k. I'm not a fan of 30k as a whole, and it's certainly not the aesthetics of 30k. But I think once I put this model together, or at least to a point where you can see the size of this thing, see him put together, I think even I could possibly forgive the 30k aesthetics of the thing, and that somehow, I don't know where exactly, but that will get glued into his wrist, into his waist, being held there rather than in his hand, which I think is quite cool, and that's quite interesting. I mean, my modelling skills isn't good enough, but I imagine that if somebody really wanted to do something really awesome with this model, building some form of magic you know, facsimile thing in his hand, some sort of green stuff, fiery stuff, you could probably put that in his hand quite nicely if you're painting this for a competition or something. That would look really nice. I mean, again, this model, it's the next project. We will be doing that. We'll start on with that later on this evening. I'll start cleaning off the mold lines and so on. I'll be building this for personal use, so again, I'm not going to be going crazy with oh, actually, I think I've just figured out how that goes. I think it goes, does it go backwards on there? Or it goes forwards and just slots in between there. There's a bit on his leg, there we go. Yeah, there's a bit on his leg that goes in, just there. And I think that fits in there. So yeah, I will be painting this for personal use, so I'm not going to be doing this in a competition standard. I will be using it. So yeah, I like this model. I mean, let me know. I mean, it will look better when it's finished. Yes, it will look better when it's finished, and once we even start getting some paint on, once we get the primer done, the base coat, once we get a wash on that, and all of these little details start popping, at least you can see all of those details. I mean, you can just about, as it catches the light, you can see some of those details. But look at that face. I mean, really, I mean, that is a face that Mephiston deserves, is it not? I mean, really, he is a beast on the tabletop, and finally he has a face that is scary. That is nice. Now, a little bit of, I'm going to spoil a little bit of YouTube magic for you here. I've already seen this model. Let me just bring my camera back back into a regular focus. I've already seen this model in the flesh, because I had to open him up so that I could clean him up ready for tonight. It is this model, it is resin. It was covered in release agent, just like any Forge World kit. So I have actually opened this up and cleaned him up, but that does mean that I am going to be able to start gluing this guy together tonight. Depending on the way the stream goes, my airbrush booth is back there. I do have the ability to put a camera over there, but that does mean disconnecting the camera, taking it over, and then reconnecting it, and then I can't talk or see the chat. So I suppose before we get to that stage, I'll ask the question now, and you can answer it. If we want to go over there to the airbrush booth, I can't chat, I can't talk because it will be noisy for a start, because I'll put the fan on, and I can't see the chat, so it's just going to be basically you looking at the screen watching me airbrush. But I can do it if you want me to. I'll airbrush him. If we get it painted, I can airbrush him on screen. If we run out of time, then I'll airbrush him in time for the next stream. But I'll ask the question now, is that something you want me to do? Disconnect, it'll be this camera here, which is the one that's pointing, is this one here. I'll disconnect that one, carry it over there, and then you can watch me airbrushing. But you know, if you want me to, if not, then we'll just build him, put him to one side, and hope that I've got enough stuff to do for the next, well, at least 45 minutes, which it should be. But you know, I just thought I'd ask a question now, and you guys can answer that now. So in the meantime, we're going to push him to one side because we've got some wash that has finished drying, and so the next thing we need to do is we're going to pop the red on the heat effects. And this is going to go around about, we did 3/4 for the yellow, the red is going to go about halfway. Maybe just a touch over. The important thing is not to go over all of the yellows. Leave some of the yellow bit exposed. You can't really see a lot of the yellow because of the colour that I've used as the base, which is a brass colour, which in itself is quite a yellow colour, but that will do. There we go. So that's the red on there. Let's bring that back out, and you can see it there as well. Right, so what we're going to do now as well is I want to layer up the purity zone. Honestly, I'd want to see interaction than just to talk and chat. So you want me to stay sat over here rather than taking my stuff over to the airbrush booth? I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, it is going to be a case of, yeah, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I wonder what was going on here. There we go. Using the wrong screen. There we go. Yeah, I mean, you would basically, you'd have this would be the screen that you would see, and I wouldn't really be able to do a lot other than you just see this. So that'll be fine. What we'll do is I'll get the dread finished now, and then we'll get Mephiston built, and then if we do run out of time, I do have a kill team that I'm painting at the moment. So if I do finish everything I'll just end the show with me painting a bit more of a kill team that I've already started. And that will be ready for, that's the thing, I'll plug us, shall I, Reese? Ready for me and Reese to be on Instagram on Tuesday. Something if we enjoy it, if it carries on being as enjoyable, we'll carry on doing that. I'm sure. I've figured out how to get my side of the stream working all right, and I will be streaming over on Twitch rather than Instagram. And Reese, you paint on Instagram. You'll be streaming from Instagram at Chick Paints, all one word, which will be quite cool. I kind of just cracked on with that and just did it. I didn't actually tell you what I was doing. Pink horror on the purity seals. One thing I haven't done yet, if I have a look at this, is I didn't do a final highlight on the purity seals themselves, or at least I didn't on this one down the bottom there. So I need to get some white for that. I just want to pop in there and just grab a few highlights, just lighten it up a bit under there. So that's that done. What have we got left to do? Right, so the dry brushing of the base will be done absolutely last, because what will happen is I'll drag that up the model. So other than that, I mean, he's coming along really, really nicely. Alright, Reese, I'll catch you later for Kill Team. Yeah, you'll be on Instagram, I'll be on Twitch, Kill Team, around about 6:30. Should be able to stream all the way through, so that'll be nice. Catch you then, and I'll catch your live streams during the week if you do any more. Or I'll try to. Yeah, so we need to wait for the. See, this is what I was talking about. This is why I needed to start a new stream. Sorry, let me start that one again. This is why I need to start a new project today. Is that right now, there's nothing more I can do on this guy until the red on there has dried. Now you can see there's only just a little bit glistening, but it is glistening a little bit. So that will be. We need to wait for that to finish drying. So we'll put him to one side, and we will bring in the base for Mephiston, and we will slowly make a start on getting this guy ready to go. So we can grab some of this. I did notice that there's some lumps along the edge of the base here. They need cutting off or sanding down. It would probably be easier, but the problem is I don't actually have any I don't have a dust mask. Resin is horrible, you don't want to get that in your lungs at all. So ideally I want to make the bits coming off this off the resin as big as possible, so that I don't turn anything into some sort of, you know, atomic particle. Or, you know, I don't want it. I want it to be as big as possible. That way, if I do breathe something in, theoretically, it'll make me cough, rather than making its way all the way to my lungs. I mean, safety first. If you've got a dust mask, I do have a dust mask actually. You just won't be able to hear me talk. I'll be muffled. So there's that. That's nice and smooth all the way around there. I just want to have a look. I mean, with the base, I mean, it's designed to look like rubble or, you know, whatever, so you probably won't really need to cut a lot off of that, because even if there was any flashing, it probably looks like it's supposed to be there. It's just that bit there. There we go. That bit there doesn't look like it's meant to be there. It kind of stands out. So we'll just chop that off next to that skull there. There we are, that's much better. I mean, you can just have a look around, especially on this bit. Just look around and just look what it just looks out of place. If it looks out of place, it probably is. But that looks okay to me. So we'll move on to the big guy himself. Now I am going to have to paint this guy in sub-assemblies. I mean, you've seen me build this dreadnought, and I've pretty much painted it all in one piece. But I can guarantee if I try and glue that to that and glue that to the base, I am not going to paint. I'm not going to be able to paint under that. I'm not putting crackle paint on this Mephiston base, Wyatt. No, this one won't be crackle paint. So let's have a gander at this. So I'll try and get out of his treads. I do see that there are tread marks in this. There's some there, and there are some there. So I need to clear out those treads. To be fair, it's one of those things that I noticed when I was cleaning him, to be honest. So I'd already seen that I needed to clear this these treads out. The question is, I'm not sure how much. But he certainly didn't want to go together very well. I almost guarantee at some point tonight I'm going to cut my fingers. Every time I'm working with resin, I cut myself. It doesn't give. I don't know if you don't have any experience working with resin, it does not give like plastic does. It kind of sticky on the blade. So I think it's that way, and I think I might have cleared that out enough. Carry on looking around this model because he does have lots of crevices and things that things could like flashing could hide. There you go. I just caught myself on a bit on the bottom of his coat there. There's a couple there. This must have been where the gate was. They've done a really good job of cutting this off the gate. Actually, it's really. I can't tell you where the gates were, not with any certainty. I'll stop talking. I'm concentrating now. Hang on. Yeah, look at that. I mean, if you imagine what this would have, how this would have been, if it was a Forge World model, how long would you have to be here cleaning that up? It's only taken me so long because I'm expecting to find issues. You know, I'm expecting to find flashing and things that are really out of shape, and I'm having to reshape them, or you know, it's a really good kit. That being said, again, like I said when I unboxed it, I don't know if it's hi Reg, you're joining me on Instagram now, I don't know, like I said, I'm not 100% sure if it's because it's a new mould, whether it's this good. And you know, if you go out and buy one of their older models, whether you know, they maintain that level of detail and that level of quality. You know, it's just something I can't tell you. But I mean, that is some pretty impressive modelling. What I have noticed though is this does not want to sit in there very properly, and I think it's something to do with this here. I think this needs cutting down. There's something going on here. Again, this could have been the gate, this could be where they've clipped it off. shaving some of that off. Hopefully I can get that to sit in there nicely, nice and smooth. He really doesn't. They've got like 3 or 4 planes coming together here, so that's why it's. I can forgive him for getting it a bit wonky. I wonder if his cape is in the way as well. See, that's meant to be there. Yeah, I think if I shave any of that, I've probably actually shaved off a bit too much down there now. When I glue it together with super glue, that'll fill that hole. Let's have a look, see if this fits on the base, which is there and there. I mean, it really does line. It lines up with the. Does line up with the tread marks. So I mean, I'm quite happy with that. Once I glue that together, it's not a problem, I don't think. And this is what I want to show you actually. If I can get him to stand up nicely there. Take me a minute to. Oh no! Are you gonna stand on that base without me sticking you together? There we go. Let me just find something here. Now, Mephiston is an old model, very old model. Let me see if I can find my original one. I can't find my original one, but let's pick out this guy instead. Look at that. That's an Astaroth model. The model's virtually the same age. Now let's bring a Primaris model in here, shall we? There we go. Look at that. Now, if I change the angle of this, if I bring this right down, hang on. Let me just show you this. Are we ready? Right. It's going to be a bit wonky. Here we go. Ready? Look at the size difference to that. I mean, genuinely, that is ridiculous. Now that is worthwhile, isn't it? I mean, the size of that Mephiston model here. This is Astaroth, who was already taller than the original Mephiston. And this is a Primaris Marine. I know it's slightly out of focus. Let's see if I can bring that back into focus with using the autofocus. There we go. I mean, that's insane, isn't it? Genuinely has got. It's just brilliant. I mean, they've done this model they've really done this model justice in terms of making what the fans want from a model such as that. I mean, it's genuinely brilliant. I am chuffed to bits. Okay, so we've cleaned up his legs and his body. Let's just move that to one side, and I want to come and have a look in here. We're ready for this. Right, let's get this guy finished. We really do want to get this guy finished tonight. Oh, I forgot one of the colours. Drucci Violet. That's in a dropper bottle, so I've put that in my palette. It's another one of those colours that we want to do for the heat effects. So we want to pop the heat on there. Again, pushing up towards the red, but not covering it, and then bring it all the way to the other end. So that's another one of the colours, and then we'll have to wait another few minutes for that to dry. So we'll carry on with that there. Right, we'll do the blue in a second, and then what I want to do is grab myself some of this squid pink from Game Colour. This will finish off the purity seals, or at least the wax strips on the purity seals. My Instagram feed ended, so I am just going to do that and then come back up again. What am I doing? There we go. Go live again on Instagram. Don't mind that being there. Right. I noticed I've had a few people pop in on Instagram, but it doesn't seem to be a major draw for people. But what I would say is, if you're watching along any of my videos, including this one, just hit the like button. You know, like the video and so on and so forth. Apparently it helps with boosting up on the viewers, or where it shows up when people are looking at stuff. So the more people like something, the more likely it is to show up for people, and then obviously hopefully the more viewers we get, and then the more viewers we get, the more we can get cracking on with things you want to see. Right, what have we got left to do on this model here? Right, so what I want to quickly do is pick up the tiniest brush I've got. I've got some brown in my palette, and what I want to do is, this will be quite interesting. I don't know if you can see what I'm going to do here. There we go. Can you see? I'm going to come along with the brown and just do dots, dashes, squiggles along there. You can't really see a lot. In fact, these are really dark purity seals. The trouble is sometimes the purity seals are so deep. The crevices in the purity seals, especially on this model, they are so deep, and they go on for so long you can't really see. So I'm going to give that up as a lost cause. So that's that. Right. Oh, what's happened there? Is that a massive great big pink splodge on the top of his arm? How did that happen? That's alright, comes off. Ooh. Right, where are we now? Right, so we're just waiting for the that to dry, the wash to dry there, so we're just waiting for that. So we are going to pop over and grab a bit more of this model. Let's grab this sword. This sword is awesome. We'll have a look. Now there's a very, very small amount of flashing on here. Let's scrape that off. That should come off nicely. See some blood drops on there as well. That's cool. What I like about this model is it is it going to focus? Right, focus. Oh, I have to turn the autofocus off again. I would really love to get some more let's have a gander. Right, come on, configure that. Right, let's turn off the autofocus and focus into where I want to be. There we go. I want to get some more screens, and I have focus pulls and cameras and all sorts of different things. What I was saying, yeah, I do like about this model is they've got just enough so iconography and detail for it to make the Blood Angels happy that it's who it's supposed to be. but without infringing the copyright of and the IP for Games Workshop. Now obviously this model can't be taken to Games Workshop and used, but it is good. I do like this model. I'm happy I got it. Now right, what are we going to do about this? Let's clear out that flashing as well. These shoulder pads have got a lot of flashing on the inside. I think it's causing issues with marrying it up with the model. There's a hell of a deep gash inside there actually. That would go on there, like that. That does look... that is the only... these shoulder pads are the only thing I don't like about this model. The way that they kind of stand proud of the... that. It just kind of it does stand proud of that. And if I just have a quick look, if I have a look at the... at the model itself, which I'll just do now. I just want to have a look at what angle his sword is at, which is pointed straight down. So if we bring him in, it points kind of straight down, like that kind of way. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm wondering, can I use this? Can I get away with using this? Maybe by adding a bit of blue-green stuff to that. I could probably fit that on there. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Is if I put a tiny amount of tiny amount of glue on the end of this pad there, I'll be able to snap that off if I need to. But what that will do is it will give me that there. Yeah, it won't glue on. Why aren't you gluing on? Right, isn't it going to glue? There we go. Right, so that's glued on there. So that then comes along there and kind of glues in that point like that. Now I can do that. I can glue that arm on in place because I can paint that with that there. I can glue that in place there without too much hassle. Just wait for that to hold. Am I going to have to pin every single part of this model? It doesn't seem to want to stay put. That should have taken by now. Right. question is can I take the shoulder pad off now without it snapping his arm off? His arm is pretty much touching his... yeah. Pulled his arm off. Okay, so I think what I'm going to need to do is leave that on there and for the glue to go off completely. So that'll go there, the glue will go off, and then I'll figure out if I can change that in a bit. Right, let's bring the dreadnought back. We're almost finishing this guy now. We've got a little bit left to do. We've done the violet. Now we're on to the blue. This is the last shade wash to be done before we do the dry brush of black, and we finish this guy off completely. And I'm so glad you've been able to keep up with this model. It will have been the first model that I've done from start to finish on live, and I'm happy he's kind of worked out well. We'll just get some blue just on the end of his hot areas. So that is just on the tips there. Once that dries, we'll do the black dry brush, and then we'll dry brush the base and clean up the edge. And he'll be done. 2 more steps to go. Well, is it 2 more steps to go? Yeah. Close enough. Right. Let's get rid of the violet shade as well. Pop that over there. Bring his legs, his arms. There we go. So let's have a quick look at his other arm, because I want to have a look at that as well. It comes out at a reasonable... right, so... oh, excuse me. Okay. So we'll just have a look at this other arm, and look at that, his fingers. Look at that, the only bit of flashing around his fingers. Yes, just in between the knuckles of his little finger. I don't even think it's worth clearing that out. A little bit of flash there. Clean that off. A little bit of a... there's a little bit of a mould line going along the back of this hand. But that's nothing too crazy either. Happy with that. Let me grab his skull. Now this one I will definitely be using, because it's difficult to find anything like this from GW. So I'll clear that out. What might be worth doing actually is I might go grab some green stuff and just shove it in these holes that the shoulder pads leave behind. So I'll just glue that onto here. That took much easier, look at that. And that sits in. He's doing some sort of weird hand thing. That's the technical term for it. Pop that in here and just pop that there, like so. There we go. That's perfect. That is. The only thing that's going to make difficult painting there is going to be the cloak, but that's going to be in shadow anyway. So we don't need to worry about that. Now this backpack I'm really not so sure about, now that I can hold this together and I can look at that like that, I'm really not sure about this backpack at all. Really don't like that. Not one bit. So what I'll do is if I come over here, I have bits box, another bits box. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look, this is a chaos one. Look at that. It's got the stems on it. I mean, I know the stems on this go straight up, but that's a chaos backpack. So we'll see if I can find one that I wouldn't mind using for Mephiston. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. That one's got Death Company insignia on it. I don't really want to use that. That one's okay. It's got some purity seals and a Blood Angel logo on the back. I mean, that one looks alright. I mean, let's have a look at the Mephiston. I'm just going to have a quick look at the Mephiston on the Games Workshop website. Because I don't want to... I want to see if they've actually got a specific one that he uses that we can use, that I can kit bash it. They haven't. This is terrible. They don't even have a 360 view of Mephiston, so we can't do that. So so we have, that one's got a scroll with a blood drop on it. Okay, right, so in the comments, let me know what you think. Oh, actually, we've got another one there that's all okay. So we've got 4 to choose from. Number 1 is a rope crossed. It's got a skull on it. Number 1. That's number 1. Number 2 is crossed parchments with Blood Angel logo on the top. That's number 2. Number 3, scroll work with a blood drop in the center there. Number 3. Or number 4, mechanical parts there with a blood drop and a purity seal over here. In the comments, 1, 2, 3 or 4, what do you reckon? That's the one I'll use. First of all, while I'm waiting for that to catch up with the lag, I'm just going to have a look to see how it looks on the back. See, that's not too bad, is it? It's fine. That's okay. I can deal with that. That won't work, so I can't do that. But what I could do, I tell you what I can do actually. You know, can I glue? If I glue him there, right, if I glue that onto there, I've got this bit here. I'm just going to glue there. Can I glue that on, and then glue Mephiston to it later? Yes, I could. 2, if I really, this one here, number 2, the one with the cross parchments with the Blood Angel insignia on the top. Then that's what I'll do, because yeah, I really don't like this original one. It's just far too chaos. It's far, with these stalks on the top there, it just really is. It's far too chaos. Now I know that it's got these fantastically massive purity seals that come out the back of it, but it just doesn't look right at all. But it doesn't look too bad. I mean, if I give that a drop of glue there, just a little bit, just to tack it on. and attach that. Now I can appreciate what they've done is they've got one that is, let's hope I can get that on there. The shoulder pads are quite big and in the way. I can appreciate they've added some detail to the rear of the model. But I actually ran Mephiston without a backpack in the first place. Because I didn't, it came off, and I've got a metal one anyway. Although if memory serves, it might actually be down the back of my sofa because it fell off a windowsill. But, I don't think that looks too small, to be fair. It's not. I think that looks okay. That looks alright to me. I like that. And I don't have to worry about these massive, great big tassely bits. Because that is, I think that's, it's just far too chaos for my liking. I know it, and perhaps it's by design. It's designed to look completely completely wrong in terms of style, so that they don't get into trouble for copying Mephiston's model. But I'm just trying to see if I glued his foot onto there. Doing my head in, this is. If I glue his foot onto there, I then only have two sub-assemblies. I got the main body and then his base. That would be fine, I think. That there. Right, I'm going to glue this leg down here. So I'm going to line it up with the base. Something like that. No, it's not something like that at all, is it? There we go. Something like that. There we go. Right, so let's try and glue that foot down like that. There we go. So what I should be able to do now is I should be able to remove the main body, leaving his leg there, and I've got his body. Oh, you've got to go now, have you, Tim? Oh, and it's a shame because I was literally just about to pick the Dev Company Dreadnought up again. But yeah, if you need to leave now, I'll catch you in the next time you're here. It'd be great to see you, and thank you once again for becoming my second Patreon. It does mean a lot to me, and I think even though we haven't quite hit that first target, we might just about be able to start multi-streaming very soon. So thank you very much for that. It really does mean a lot, and thank you very much. And I will catch you next time you're on. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to quickly finish the end of this Mephiston. No, not the Mephiston. I think we're pretty much finished. Oh, there's one thing we needed to do with this Mephiston model actually. We just want to quickly finish off painting, finish off cleaning off this plasma pistol, which again has a very 30k look to it, like I said earlier. It's very different to what you would expect Mephiston to be carrying. And like we said, that comes in at an angle on his belt here. Just in there, something like that. If I hold that still, that is there, that's that there, I think. Now if I bring his body back up, we should be able to line that up when we need to glue that into place after painting. It does look a little bit wonky actually, to be honest. Doesn't look perfect. Well, there we go, broke it off his base again. We're going to pop him back on there. Come on, you're back on the base. Oh, you're welcome to tell me about the heat effect. Ta-ra. Right, so that's that. And then finally we're going to come in to close the show out. We're going to finish the dreadnought. We're going to get some tissue. What is the time? It's 19:58, so we're about to finish here. Anyway, it's a nice time to end it. Get some tissue, get some black on a tissue. We're going to get the smallest dry brush I can find and get that there, and then dry brush just the end here with black. Do the same thing over here. And then what I've also been not doing until now, because I knew I was going to need to do it anyway, is add some soot to the ends of the exhaust pipes here by dry brushing those with some black, coming down, just rubbing the dry paint. Well, it's not dry paint, it's just regular, regular black paint, but once you've wiped off most of it, it acts like a dry paint. There we go. Dry brush them black. Just like that. I'm going to grab myself another dry brush and we'll make a start on this base. And we're going to start with, what do I want first? I want some khaki first, which was the base colour. See if I can get any out, because I've run out. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what I can use. Xandri dust, which is close enough. Brand new pot, so it needs a shake. Clean that off there. Grab the one, and then we just start dry brushing the khaki, or sorry, the Xandri dust all over the base. More of that paint on here. catching the feet, catching all the bottom of this. It gets dusty as he walks along. So, not being too careful about worrying about getting paint on the model. Now what I can do is get a nice big dry brush, get some of this paint, nice big dry brush, get some of this paint on that big dry brush. Again, wipe most of it off, making sure that most of it is off, and then we can go over the whole model. And what that does is give the whole model a dusted appearance. Like the whole thing is getting a bit dusty, it's out in a dusty environment. So the whole thing has got some dusty bits to him. Like so. And then grab me other dry brush and come in with some bone white, so Vallejo bone white. Again, wipe most of it off. And then dry brush that in all around the model, like so. And I like finishing off my models with a really nice matte black finish around the base. Go along there. So this is using that alcohol based acrylic paint that I've got from Tamiya. This is a rubber black. It gives us a really nice matte black finish to the rim of the base, which I'm really chuffed with. All of my models that I use for gaming are done this way. The rim like this. Give that a minute to dry. So have a look at this guy again. I'm not so sure about the angle of that pistol. I think it's supposed to stick out quite that far. If I have a look at the Imperial Deathlord image again, no, it's much more of an angle down. So I've done something wrong there. That is definitely in there. definitely glued into there somewhere. I think perhaps that is supposed to be off of that there. Trim that down and then just glue that in at a slightly steeper angle like that. Just more like that kind of angle. That can then slide him there. Really don't at that end. Oh, he's come off of that base again. Getting that pistol in the right place is going to be a challenge, I think. If I can glue him down solidly enough rather than just his toes. It might just about give us the right. Going to leave him there. Should be just about enough. We're going to leave him there and then finally bring in the Death Company Dreadnought. His base isn't quite finished there, but that is him done. There we go. So one project finished from start to finish on a live show. Mephiston has been started this week, so he will carry on from next week. There we are. Have a look on my Instagram. Pictures will be up there soon. So with that, I think that's time to call it the end of the show. So thank you for joining me. A quick shout out again to Tim, who has been a Patreon during the course of this show. I am really happy that you've done that for me. You are going to support the channel, and with anybody else's contributions, they will help. Instagram didn't really kick off tonight, but I'm hoping if I can do this sort of thing more regularly, people might start joining in. If not, my Instagram just doesn't like staying live. I had this issue on Tuesday when I was with @chickpaints, who is also Maurice. We were trying to stream and I had issues trying to stay on live, so we're going to try and keep up with that. If you want to see me and Reese playing Kill Team again, follow us next week. I will be streaming live on Twitch and Reese will be streaming live on Instagram. I will pop up on Twitch occasionally as and when I can to carry on painting whatever it is I happen to be painting at the time, so you can talk to me there. You can catch me on all of the links. They're all down below. You can find the link for the Imperial Deathlord in the links below, and all of the social media and so on. Contact me, like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that usual jazz that you do for YouTube channels. And yeah, I'm going to call it a night for this one. We've finished that model, we've started the next one, and I'll catch you next week for the next stream. Yeah, and if you want to see us on Tuesday. But other than that, catch you next week. Alright, ta-ra.